Some people don't leave your life dramatically. They just stop showing up, and you only notice when you're the one who stopped calling. His name was David. 36 years old, he had friends, real ones. Or so he thought. David was the kind of person everyone called when things got hard. Break up at 2 a.m., he answered. Lost a job, he was there. Needed someone to talk to. David always picked up. He had a group of friends he had known for over a decade. Marcus, James, Tyler, and a few others. They had grown up together, gone to college together, celebrated each other's birthdays, attended each other's weddings. These were not casual friends. These were the people. David would have said, "I would do anything for them," and he meant it. But somewhere along the way, without realizing it, David started noticing something, small at first, then impossible to ignore. He was always the one who called. Always. He would check his phone after weeks of silence and realize he hadn't received a single message from any of them. Not one. He told himself it was normal. People are busy. Life gets complicated. He made excuses for them, the way you do when you love people and don't want to see the truth. But the pattern was undeniable. Every phone call, David initiated. Every plan, David suggested. Every check-in, David started. They responded. Sure, they showed up. Sometimes. But they never, not once, reached out first. One night, David sat alone in his apartment, scrolling through his messages. He counted. In the last 6 months, he had sent 47 messages to his closest friends. They had sent him 11. And most of those were replies. Not initiations. Not, "Hey, how are you?" Just replies. He stared at that number for a long time. 47 and 11. So David decided to try something, not out of anger, not to punish anyone, just to see, just to understand what would happen if he stopped calling first. Week 1, silence. He told himself, they're probably busy. Week 2, still nothing. He checked his phone every morning, every night. Nothing. Week 3, Marcus posted photos on social media of a dinner with James and Tyler and the others. A dinner David hadn't been invited to. He found out because of a photo. He didn't cry immediately. He just sat there, looking at the photo. Faces he had known for 15 years, laughing. Without him, and not one of them had thought to call. That's when it hit him. He wasn't part of their lives. He was part of their convenience. When David called, they answered. When David organized, they came. But when David was silent, they didn't even notice. Week 4, David sat in his car, outside a coffee shop, where he and Marcus used to meet. He didn't go in. He just sat there, thinking. He thought about all the times he had rearranged his schedule for them, all the times he had driven across town, all the birthdays he had remembered, all the problems he had listened to for hours, on weeknights, when he had work the next morning. And he asked himself a question he had been avoiding for years. When was the last time any of them did that for me? He couldn't remember. Not once. He drove home, made himself dinner, and sat with that realization quietly. It didn't feel like heartbreak. Not anymore. It felt like clarity. He understood something he had been too loyal to see. Friendship is not just about being there. When someone calls, it's about picking up the phone when you haven't heard from someone in too long. It's about thinking of someone when they're not in the room. David had been thinking of them, even when they weren't there. For 15 years, they hadn't been thinking of him. He wasn't bitter. He was just done. Not dramatically. Not with a speech. Not with confrontation. Just done. The next month, David joined a climbing gym. Something he had always wanted to try, but never had time for, because he was always available for everyone else. He met someone there, a guy named Ryan, who texted him the next day, unprompted. "Hey man, good to meet you. Same time next week?" David stared at that message for a moment. Someone had reached out first. Such a small thing. And yet, it meant everything. 2 years later, David has a smaller circle, much smaller, but every person in it calls him, checks on him, thinks of him. When he's not in the room, he still sees Marcus and the others occasionally. At weddings, at birthdays, they're always warm, always glad to see him. But David notices now that they never call, and he no longer calls them first. And somehow, that feels right. So let me ask you something. Think about the people in your life right now. If you stopped reaching out, tomorrow, who would notice? Who would call? Who would send a message just to check if you're okay? That list is your real circle. Everyone else is just someone who answers when you call. You don't need many people. You need the right ones. People who show up, not just when it's convenient, but when it matters. People who think of you when there's nothing to gain. Protect your energy. Protect your heart. Stop carrying relationships that were never really yours to carry. This is Narrathex, where the story is the code, the lesson is the key, and never miss another story.